Hello everyone, this is Rosie from Rosie Tarot. Today, we're going to be looking into your July 2026 monthly reading using both tarot and oracle cards. Please take a moment to choose the card or crystal you feel most drawn to. Once you've made your choice, you can go to the timestamps and head straight to your reading. Before we begin, please make sure to check the disclaimer in the description box. This is a general reading, so take what resonates and leaves the rest. And if something doesn't feel right or doesn't resonate with you, I recommend choosing a different pile. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Hello everyone and welcome to your reading. For those of you who chose pile 1, today we're going to be looking into your July 2026 monthly reading using both tarot and oracle cards. So let's go ahead and get started. First, let's take a look at your current energy and the energy before July through these tarot cards. We have the Page of Cups, the Six of Wands, and the Four of Swords. It feels like you may have recently experienced recognition or success in some area of your life. For example, you may have achieved something meaningful at work and received recognition and praise from others. Or perhaps entered a relationship that made you very happy and received congratulations from the people around you. It feels like two different interpretations are coming through with these cards. The first one is that, while going through this situation of success, you may have started to experience some inner questions or confusion. Thoughts and feelings like,
is this really what I wanted? Is this what I've been longing for? What is this sense of emptiness? I feel like I've lost my direction on what to do next.
These kinds of emotions may have come up for you. And the second interpretation is that, even within this successful situation, instead of stopping, you may have naturally started thinking about what comes next. In other words, you may have begun to reflect on where you should go from here and what your next direction should be. In both situations, the next step seems to be the same. It feels like you may have spent some quiet time on your own, reflecting and objectively analyzing yourself. In particular, you may have gone through a period of self-reflection. Looking back at everything you've built so far, such as your skills, your career, your work. The path and situations you've been through, your studies, and even your past relationships. Through this process, it feels like you came to realize what you truly want and what you are naturally good at. It also feels like you spent a great deal of time thinking things through. Your thoughts, opinions, and plans may have gradually become much clearer, just like the fish in the Page of Cups. Thoughts, plans, and ideas that once felt formless like water now seem to have taken on a clear shape, much like the fish inside the cup. Because of this, it feels like can guess. You may have boldly chosen the one thing you truly want and the direction you genuinely wish to pursue. At the same time, you may have started putting everything else in order, that is, the things you had been doing up until now. And then, it feels like you entered a period of waiting, preparing yourself to take action when the right opportunity arrived and the timing felt right. All right. Now, let's take a look at your oracle cards to see the main theme, energy, and overall vibes surrounding your July. All right. Let me adjust the cards for a moment. Positive mind. All positive emotions. Happiness. Joy. Relaxation. And revival. New opportunities, payback, resurrection. And the last card, energy, power, strength, passion, confidence, courage, action. All right, these are the cards that came out. This definitely connects with the energy we saw before July. It feels like July will be a month in which you truly begin to feel alive again. In other words, the new path, goal, or direction you decided on earlier in the reading seems to transform you into a new version of yourself. Just like the imagery on this revival card. If you had been feeling a little down or lacking energy and vitality before July, July seems to bring a powerful sense of revival. It feels like your energy is coming back to life. You may begin to experience a sense of aliveness that you've never truly felt before. And it feels like you're stepping into a new way of living, a new chapter of your life. And look at the eyes of this man. Don't they feel steady and intense? It feels like, just like the figure in the card, you may become deeply focused on what you truly want and the direction you have chosen. With that level of focus, you may move forward without hesitation, going after your goals with determination and drive. July feels like a month filled with passion, energy, and momentum more than ever before. And naturally, you may find yourself feeling more confident and taking action with ease. Of course, moving in this way may feel physically and emotionally demanding at times, and you may find yourself feeling tired. Even so, it feels very likely that you'll go through this month with a genuine sense of happiness. Just like the image on this positive mind card, it feels like you may welcome this new flow with open arms. What I'm seeing from these cards is that this flow and the energy surrounding you are likely to guide you toward something even better than before. It also feels like July could be a month in which you're likely to receive positive news about something you've been hoping for. Now, let's draw some tarot cards to take a closer look at your oracle cards. It feels like the energy we saw before July and the energy surrounding your July are naturally flowing together as one. Once again, I'm seeing that even though you were in a stable situation, you weren't completely satisfied. Instead, you found yourself wanting something more, a wider world, more freedom, and what you truly wanted. And by boldly choosing that path, these cards suggest that new circumstances, opportunities, new flows, new feelings, and new energy are likely to come into your life. With the Two of Pentacles, there's something else I'm picking up here. What I'm getting is that this may be something you haven't really done before. Or perhaps it's something you tried in the past, but ended up pursuing something else instead. Either way, it feels like in July, you'll begin pursuing what you've discovered about yourself, what you truly want, and what you're naturally good at. Because this is the beginning of something new for you. It may feel unfamiliar. There may be moments when things don't go as smoothly as you'd hoped, and you may find yourself making more mistakes than usual. But I feel that you'll be able to navigate all of this with your own sense throughout July. That's simply what every beginning looks like. One of the hardest parts of starting something new is accepting yourself when you're not good at it yet. But those mistakes and those awkward beginner moments are exactly what grow into experience and ability. So, throughout July, Please be kind and gentle with yourself whenever you make mistakes or feel inexperienced at the beginning. Your July feels like it will be a month where you experience a sense of being truly alive in a way you haven't felt before. Filled with happiness and vitality. So if new beginnings and opportunities come your way, try not to let fear keep you from exploring them. Okay. And that brings us to the end of your reading, Pile 1. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful July. Hello everyone who chose Pile 2. Today, we're going to be looking into your July 2026 monthly reading using both tarot and oracle cards. Now let's begin your reading. First, let's take a look at your current energy and the energy before July through these tarot cards. The very first thing coming through is that your situation seems to have been flowing in a very stable way, without much disruption or noise. There's a peaceful energy here, and it feels like you were able to relax and naturally settle into that flow without feeling too much tension. At the same time, in some areas of your life, it feels like you were steadily building a solid foundation toward your goals and reached a meaningful milestone along the way. Because of that, I'm also see a quiet celebration shared with the people around you. It almost feels like this was a transitional phase, a checkpoint before moving toward the next stage and your ultimate goal. Because of that, it feels like you spent this time healing the parts of yourself that needed healing and preparing the areas that needed preparation. You may have kept yourself quite busy during this period, but I feel that much of your focus was directed toward your inner world and your spiritual growth. As a result, a peaceful, stable, and positive energy seems to have spread within you and into your surroundings. The cards show that these experiences naturally guided you through a process of healing. Now, let's take a look at your oracle cards to see what the main theme, energy, and overall atmosphere of your July will be like. meditation, mindfulness, silence, calm, and good luck. Lucky. Yes. You may have already noticed this yourself, but this connects naturally with the energy we saw before July. It feels like throughout July, you'll continue spending a lot of time nurturing and bringing balance to your inner world. Rather than focusing on regrets from the past or worries about the future, it feels like you'll make a conscious effort to keep your attention on the present moment. And through that process, I'm seeing you exploring and getting to know yourself on a much deeper level. It feels like you'll truly enjoy moments of quiet and silence throughout July. By spending time this way, you'll be able to reconnect with your true self, and your inner foundation will become stronger. For some of you, this could look like practicing different forms of meditation, such as walking meditation, mindfulness meditation, focused meditation, or sound meditation. Others may spend more time doing yoga or simply setting aside quiet moments to be alone with themselves. It feels like this energy and this flow will begin to transform the energy around you. As your luck begins to grow, you'll naturally attract more positive experiences and opportunities into your life. And I feel that you'll notice this happening yourself. I'm also picking up that this is likely to positively support your journey toward your long-term goals. As your physical and emotional strength grows, it feels like you'll gain not only the strength to keep moving forward, but also the endurance to stay consistent. Because of that, the cards suggest that your chances of successfully reaching your ultimate goal become much stronger. Now, let's draw some tarot cards to take a closer look at your oracle cards. We have the Two of Pentacles and Death. Looking at this card combination, I do feel that any inner instability you may have experienced is likely to naturally come to a close this month through these experiences, this energy, and this overall flow. It doesn't feel like an abrupt ending. Rather, it feels like something that naturally comes to a close over time. If you look at the imagery on the Two of Pentacles, you can see the waves behind the figure constantly rising and falling. Even in the midst of those ever-changing circumstances and emotions, it feels like you've been doing a good job of managing your emotions in your own way. With the Death card, what I'm seeing is that the emotions and circumstances that had been shaking you are gradually coming to an end and beginning to settle into a more stable place. The key message here is that during July, You'll come to clearly understand how to care for your inner world through practices like meditation and mindfulness. Because you'll also experience the positive results for yourself. Whenever you feel even slightly shaken in the future, you'll naturally be able to calm and center yourself in your own way. As a result, your vision will become much clearer, and you'll be able to choose a better path, one that's different from before. Your July feels like it will be a month where taking the time to care for your inner world will strengthen the path ahead. So try to find a quiet place and set aside some quiet time to focus on nurturing your inner self. Throughout this month, remember that emotional healing is physical healing. And that brings us to the end of your reading, Pile 2. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful July. Hello everyone who chose Pile 3. Today, we're going to be looking into your July 2026 monthly reading using both tarot and oracle cards. Okay? Now, let's begin your reading. First, let's take a look at your current energy and the energy before July through these tarot cards. Okay, let's see. The first thing coming through is that you seem to have achieved solid or meaningful results in certain areas of your life, such as business, career, love, or relationships. For those of you who are artists, you may have created something of your own. In particular, it feels like there has been visible growth and tangible results that you can actually see with your own eyes. This could be in the form of money, new opportunities, or even recognition and success. Also, any unclear relationships may have become more clear and started moving in a direction that is more aligned with what you want and what's best for you. A very abundant and peaceful energy is coming through. However, with the Tower card coming out, there seems to have been a sudden shift in energy. Out of nowhere, something that once felt stable may have started to fall apart or even collapse. This could be due to external influences or internal factors. It feels like the cause is different for each person, but something ultimately seems to have disrupted that stability. At the same time, with the Temperance card coming out, so it doesn't feel like your situation spiraled into something even more negative. And it feels like, in this situation, you may have chosen to step away for a while. or distance yourself from everything that was going on, carrying emotional wounds as well. It feels like this must have been emotionally very painful for you, because when something you've worked so hard to build starts to fall apart, it can be incredibly difficult. Additionally, what I'm picking up is that there may have been someone or some kind of presence that supported or helped you through this process. Now, let's see what your main theme, energy, and overall vibe for July look like through the oracle cards. Self-esteem, self-love, and wait, patience, taking a break, organizing your thoughts. The energy from before July is still continuing into July. So it feels like the earlier energy of stepping away is still ongoing. And you're currently in a period of waiting, resting, and taking time for yourself. Emotionally, this period may feel a little restless or anxious at times, but everything has its own timing. And it may be important for you to simply wait for the right moment. This feels like a necessary period for your growth and bigger expansion. The cards are also gently reminding you that this is a time to recharge your energy and organize your thoughts. And with the self-esteem card coming out as well, it feels like because of what you've been through, you may have found yourself comparing your current situation to others, or thinking things like,
Am I not good enough?
or,
What if I fail again?
these thoughts may have caused you even more emotional distress. It also feels like your self-confidence may have been shaken quite a bit. But when we go through situations like this, it's very natural for all of us to feel this way and compare ourselves to others. So this July, it feels like you'll be able to pause these patterns and use this quiet. Still time to see yourself as you are, in a more positive light, and gradually build trust and confidence in yourself. At your own pace, it feels like you'll be preparing yourself to try again when the time is right. Rather than ignoring your emotions as they come up, you'll acknowledge them and be intentionally kind to yourself in your thoughts each day. Spending time just for yourself to heal and recharge your energy. Like in the Wait card image, it feels like you may be quietly taking care of yourself, perhaps having a cup of tea and simply being with yourself. Now, let's draw some tarot cards to take a closer look at your oracle cards. The cards that came out are the Hermit, the Queen of Swords, and the Hierophant. All three cards carry relatively still and quiet energy rather than movement. So the tarot cards are once again confirming that July will be a month for you to pause for a while. What we can see from the Hermit and the Hierophant is that you're likely to spend a lot of time on your own throughout the month. In particular, there's a strong possibility that you'll naturally meet fewer people, lose interest in social activities, and spend your time in a much quieter and more limited way. At the same time, it feels like you'll be focusing on your spiritual well-being, caring for your inner world, and maintaining a sense of peace. You may also find yourself becoming interested in areas that encourage self-reflection, such as religion or philosophy. And as I mentioned earlier, there's also a strong possibility that you'll practice meditation, yoga, or similar activities. Through this process, it feels like you'll gain deeper insight into yourself and experience meaningful moments of clarity and self-reflection. As a result, your inner world is likely to become much more stable. And with the Queen of Swords appearing, it feels like your inner world will naturally become stronger throughout July, and your sense of direction, personal values, and beliefs will become much clearer. As you gain a clearer understanding of how to love yourself and how to truly see yourself, I feel this will become a positive driving force for you when the time is right to move forward. So even if you feel emotionally overwhelmed this month, I recommend taking the time to calmly see yourself as you are. Prepare yourself for what's ahead and focus on healing the wounds in your body, mind, and spirit. This July may be a time to pause, but it's by no means a time of falling behind. Instead, it's a time of preparation so that you can move forward with even greater strength. So trust yourself and allow yourself to heal at your own pace. And that brings us to the end of your reading, pile 3. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a truly wonderful July ahead.